You are up, Commissioner.
All right, Bannock County Commissioners are now in session. Looks like the first item on our agenda is Buddy Rumnall.
Good morning, Commission. Buddy Rumnall, Public Works Assistant Director. We have before you the fleet plan for FY25. In the plan, you'll see between FY24 and FY25, we will send 19 vehicles to auction. This will reduce our fleet from 155 vehicles to 143 vehicles. We will also reallocate 13 vehicles to better utilize each vehicle to get maximum life expectancy before sending them to auction. In FY25, we plan to purchase 15 new vehicles and 1 used vehicle. With the budget, we were able to achieve this and actually, as a whole, come in under budget $47,000. However, there were 2 departments that were over budget. The one being Road and Bridge, we had a budget of $150,000. Each vehicle we're looking at purchasing is just over 50 grand. One was a little bit more than 50, so we were about $10,600. Kyle and I have looked in our budget and we should be able to adjust for that overage to purchase that vehicle. The other issue we had was Ag Extension. They had a budget of $30,000 for a 15-passenger van. And to purchase the van new would be right around $45,000. So looking for a used one, I can get like between a 5 to 10-year-old vehicle with around $70,000 to $100,000 for 30 grand. So I don't know if that's the direction we'd like to go on that, but that's about the best I could come up with on the van.
And they're going from like a caravan to a 15-passenger van?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I guess my question is why, for one thing. And then I have some concerns about who's driving.
Okay.
Maybe we should have Ag Extension come in here and talk about the need and.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that with that one. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, we can hold off.
there's a whole difference to driving a 15-passenger van and a little minivan.
Sure.
And what their needs are and what I'd just like a little more on that one.
And that's something that, I'll be honest, I didn't dig into. I mean, I kind of felt like we'll just kind of look at what they want and see if that makes sense and then bring it to you guys. And
Yeah, and I guess I knew that they was wanting a van, but I thought it was a replacement for what they had, kind of an in-kind deal, and so.
okay.
And in the past, the discussion has been to take kids up to, or supplies up to Alpine for the annual camping trip, but that's
So
maybe.
maybe-
One more we can do to kind of help with this in the future too is if it's not like an in-kind, then we just have them bring it before you. You know, if it's something completely different, maybe we can have a little discussion on why.
That'd be good. Like I say, there's a lot of difference in the insurance and everything else on a 15-passenger van, and
Sure.
to me, than a minivan. You put that many more kids in there.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% in agreement with you. I'd like to see him come in and explain the use of the current van, why do you think you need a bigger van, you know, and all that kind of thing. So do we have other departments that have these, what's it called, a caravan type is what they currently have?
So
The jail has them, and so does
Juvie.
Juvie.
The jail and juvie.
And we were actually, I was going to look on here, we were going to reallocate the caravan from Ag Extension to juvenile detention was kind of our in the reallocation plan. So the caravan they currently have, we put that with juvenile probation.
So those are the only 3 groups that have these things would be this one you're talking about plus juvie
And the jail.
and the jail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's have them come in and find out.
And lastly, on the weird ones, I guess, that we had out of all this was the assessor Anita really stressed to us that she needed a 4x4, not an all-wheel drive, and they preferred a truck for when they go do inspections on cell towers, and they go into places like Lava Ranch or kind of off-roady type areas to do their assessments. So they had a budget of, I think it was right around 25,000, and so I couldn't come up with a 4-wheel drive in order to meet their needs. What's that?
27,398.
27,398. There you go.
Any sense?
No,
And,
it's budget.
So I talked with Hal at planning, and they had a truck that's kind of underutilized, that they felt that a SUV would fit their needs better. And so I looked up the value of the Dodge that they have, and it's between 22 and 25,000. And so my thought was we'd have Anita purchase a Chevy Trailblazer for 24,400. We would then reallocate that to planning. They would get planning's truck. And so that way that everybody kind of got what they wanted.
How many miles are on the planning's truck?
What was it, like
48
40,000?
or something.
Yeah. And
Give 40,000.
I have the
40,000 you
book
said?
value too. If you, yeah, 43,470.
So it's still got a lot of value.
And when Buddy and I talked about it, the value of the pickup would
Equals.
equal out, so we're not using appraiser budget to buy planning a vehicle, because that would not be appropriate, but the swap will. So he's just gonna give me all the documentation, so that if it's questioned, we can justify it.
And you've talked to Anita and everybody else
Yeah,
about all this stuff?
everybody.
Everybody's on board with this thing?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other one, I talked to Buddy yesterday, we have the Chevy Trax going in the, under the commission for our fleet out here. And I would rather not do a Chevy Trax, but do another Chevy Equinox. It's just a bigger vehicle. When we travel, the Rogue is small. I mean, it just doesn't fit people. And that's what the Trax is.
Even now with our change in personnel, we're,
Well, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just.
I'm not, that was brought up too, but, if multiple people go to Boise and stuff, there isn't room for luggage, there isn't, I mean, it just, so,
Because it's a pooled vehicle, it gets used by multiple departments.
Right, right. I don't even know what a Chevy Trax is.
It's one of the, so Chevy no longer offers a car. This is like, this, they offer like a Corvette, but they don't have, they don't have like a Malibu or anything like that like they used to. And now this is like the smallest vehicle that they offer. It's a small SUV. And it's, Kyle and I went and looked at them. I was actually surprised on how much room it really had. Like, I mean, we sat in the
It's
back.
got
and
really
had
good
pretty
leg room,
but
As you're saying, if you go to a conference or some training, you got luggage, you got all that.
trunk wide, you know.
It's more of getting a few people around doing things here versus,
and especially where it's used by all departments and stuff, I just assume we can manage. I talked to Christie, we're about $9,000 short, or it was actually about 5,000 when we, so we'd come up with them funds, just to get the right vehicle, in my opinion, at this
So
time.
what does this 47,000 under budget mean?
That's bottom line, but that's all departments.
So we
that-
take everything into consideration total, we're 47,000 under, but if we do this deal that you're talking about, we'd be 36,000, 30?
By department, some departments are gonna be over, some departments are gonna be under. But overall, it'll be under.
And so then we'd be under like 9,000 less than 47, is that right?
No, that's built into this.
Oh, that's built in,
Well,
okay.
no, it's not. No, it's not.
It'd be
It's-
$5,700 less, so yeah, 42.
So pretty close,
Yeah.
pretty close, okay.
And that's kind of something Christy and I had talked about maybe looking into for next year, is putting the funds together as a whole, if we could.
We can't, just because Road and Bridge isn't levying ability to buy all the county vehicles. The only other option would be to have every department pay in, but if we had every department pay in, then we'd be, some departments would pay over and some would pay under.
Yeah.
So, due to the nature of government, we can't.
The
Unless
hardest,
we pay for it out of pill.
The hardest part that I found with trying to get bids is you're getting a bid a year in advance. And so
You're getting what?
I'm getting a bid for these vehicles a year in advance, essentially, before I order it. And so the price isn't gonna be the same today as it is next year.
So we just need
And
to
so
build in
it's
a
hard
contingency.
to, yeah, I don't know if we just need to add $4,000 or $5,000 to each vehicle and then we're looking really good, or which direction we'd like to go. But first year, that's kind of a hiccup that I found that we come across.
Well, I appreciate your efforts. I mean, right here, it just states that we're going from 155 vehicles to 143. I mean, to me, that's in the right direction. We're getting vehicles that are up to date, not have things just sitting in the parking lot just because. I think it's a very positive direction, so thank you for your work and your efforts there, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I would just reiterate what Commissioner Moser says. I think you guys have done a fantastic job. I'm glad we're working on this thing. It's another accomplishment, I think, to reduce the cost of the taxpayer and have really better quality, so.
And he did an amazing job. The first list had a lot more over budget. So he did a lot of work making it fit.
No, I'm really, really happy with this.
Good.
So, I'd entertain a motion to move forward with this.
And so that means we're going to basically implement this plan except for the, what's it called, the extension?
Ag extension.
Ag extension, and they're gonna come down here and talk to us,
And
right?
then change the tracks to unequal.
Okay, then, Mr. Chairman, I move that we move forward with this plan as we just discussed.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
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 I do want to add one thing to that too, that has nothing to do with the motion, just more so for departments that may be watching, is these vehicles are gonna be anywhere from 2 to 8 months out. And so none of the reallocation or none of that's gonna happen until we get all the vehicles in. So we'll just kind of piece it in when we can.
2 to 8 months, so it'll basically take place over time.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
I'll order them probably today and then we'll go from there. And
He wishes he could have them all here, this week,
That's
but I don't
okay.
think it's gonna happen.
I'll bet.
yeah. Okay.
Does the board want me to do a formal reallocation on the vehicles? Just so that if we are, say, 8 months out, that $5,700 in county operations doesn't get spent somewhere else? Do you want me to do that if there's a overage that needs to be absorbed, so like in road and bridges as well?
Yeah, I mean, we'd like to go with the amounts that we have.
That'll just show that it was
Reserved.
approved, and it's just a simple resolution. So I can get that, and then Nancy can have you guys sign it.
Yeah.
I would assume the SUVs are gonna be a lot quicker than the pickups.
And then I'd go ahead and explain a little bit about your efforts in trying to go local and that we're gonna piggyback on the state and so that's on the record too a little bit.
So Smith Chevrolet in Idaho Falls holds a state contract. So the state goes out to all these other local dealerships and sees what dealership will offer the best price. And Smith Chevrolet got the Chevy contract for Idaho. So Kyle and I, we went to Herning, went to Cole, everything local to try to give them the offer. Like, here's where we're at, this is what we're getting. Cole expressed zero interest. In fact, they told us it would be a waste of their time just because they don't make enough money on ordering new government vehicles because they got to sell them so cheap. Herning was super good to deal with. They were really close on a lot of them. The issue we had is the SUV side. The SUVs, they didn't offer like a base grade package to where we could even get close to where we got price wise. And so we just chose to go with Smith. One guy, I've dealt with him. I think this will be I think we've purchased so far since I've been here 3 vehicles through him, and he's been great to deal with. And it's usually pretty painless. We just got the weed truck from him a couple weeks ago, but yeah, I guess in a nutshell, that's that.
Well, I just wanted to let people know, if they're listening, that you actually did search in Bannock County and tried to do the best that we could,
Yeah,
but overall for Bannock County and the citizens,
sure.
this is the best price that we could get.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yep. And lastly, I got the contract with Vestas. Before Vestas, we had a contract with Aramark. When I first started my new position, we were having issues with Aramark with their quality, a lot of billing issues, overages, and I had explained to their manager that I wasn't interested in signing a new contract until we kind of fixed some of those issues. And we've worked through those, and since that point, they've got bought out, and now they're Vestas. It's the same manager, but they've been doing great, providing good service. No longer have issues with coveralls and things like that. Some of the mechanics explained that they'd rather have a uniform rather than coveralls because the coveralls are too hot. And so I looked into that with him, and it actually saved us money to go to a uniform rather than a coverall. And so that's what this contract is I guess to re-up with Vestas and then go to a uniform.
It's cheaper to get a uniform than it is to get coveralls?
Made no sense to me either. Yeah, so we were paying a weekly charge of $123.22, and our new rate will be $116.96.
A uniform consists of what exactly?
A pair of pants and a shirt.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
So do they come dressed in their clothes and then change into these?
That's something I got to work out because we don't really have a formal dress room. And so I'm kind of assuming that they're just going to come to work dressed, ready to go.
But the laundry service will still be done by these guys, and
Yes, sir.
they'll just bring their,
They'll just have to bring their dirties in the next day or however they want to.
and we're limited to these clothes and not taking place of laundry service for
Yes.
our employees.
Yeah. So really nothing will change as far as that
Bless you.
goes. But, and then on that contract, there's also like our rugs and we have a first aid supply and that stuff. So.
Okay. Questions? Motion?
I'll move to renew the annual Vestas contract as presented.
Got a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Christie?
Mr. Bowser, Comptroller, I have the first item for the board is signature on the titles for Bancorp. Is going to be selling these sheriff's vehicles. There are, however, 2 of these vehicles are drug seizure, so the proceeds from that will need to go into the drug seizure trust, just because the money's got to flow. They were seized vehicles. The sheriff does have a special request. Assuming these funds will result in a unanticipated revenue at the end of the year, he would like permission to use some of the proceeds to buy an unmarked detective vehicle, if possible.
He will need to come visit with us.
Okay, he asked me to pitch that on his behalf because he's out of town today.
Yeah,
And Alex had a dentist appointment, so he couldn't be here. So.
But I think that's a conversation that we have.
We can see what money comes in, and then assuming.
Are you talking about from the drug seizures? We'll get some
No,
of
this
that
is
back
on
or something
the.
else?
This is on the.
Oh, this is the auction?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for the remaining vehicles that are not drug seizure, that are going to go to statutorily, the money goes to the general fund. He wants to use 40 to 42,000 of that to get an unmarked detective's vehicle.
Corvette, because I hear they're on sale.
I don't think we have detectives running in Corvettes.
Well, maybe we should, I don't know.
The state's doing
Mustangs.
Nobody'd think about that unless they watch this video, and it's not that well watched.
Okay, I will let Tony know that we'll wait and see what the proceeds come in at and then have that discussion. I told him I won't know if revenue spent until at least July or August for the general fund, so that would not even really be.
Well, we haven't finished our discussion on who all takes vehicles home.
You can combine those meetings.
We've had short, brief meetings on it, but not a conclusion, in my opinion.
We're still waiting for a date for those to be auctioned off. It's supposed to be within the next week or 2, and Andy is currently texting me right now to call him when I get done, so I'll see if he has an update.
Okay,
Do you need a motion authorizing that?
Yes,
signature?
please, on
Okay,
that.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we authorize your signature on these Sheriff Department vehicle titles.
we have a motion, all in favor say aye.
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 The next item is, we had, I believe it was last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, we pulled the Edward Byrne grant in anticipation of Adam being able to apply and get some larger equipment as opposed to our sheriff's office just getting tough books. He didn't qualify to be able to apply for that, but a positive did come out. The equipment's not going to be $500,000. It's only going to be about $170,000. So he'll come to the budget next year and ask for that. So we're asking on this Edward Byrne grant to do the traditional, get tough books. There's a little bit of a match, but they've got that within their budget. And then Pocatello Police Department also piggybacks on that, and they get some other equipment as well.
Okay.
And that, I don't, was there a memo in the packet?
I'm not sure. I forgot to write names on the titles, so we didn't look at that.
This is just you guys' paperwork.
Because we're running up on the deadline, I would request a signature on the MOU that is, it only spells out between the city of Pocatello and us, the split of the funds that have been allocated for the two jurisdictions. And because we need to get that filed by the 16th or 17th.
And this is all standard, we do this every year?
Yeah, we've done this for a handful of years.
Okay. A motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve and sign the MOU as suggested in the Edward Byrne Memorial Equipment Grant.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
All right. Resolutions. So we have resolution number 2024-64, which is approving September 2024 salaries, and resolution 2024-65, approving September's alcohol licenses.
Any concerns? Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve resolutions number 2024-64 and 2024-65.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, next. Under letters and notices, a notice for sale of Bannock County real properties. And there's like 18 properties that will go up for auction on the 29th of October.
I think we've already had the treasurer maybe or someone come in front of us and talk about this. Yeah, so you don't have any concerns with this, do you?
Yeah. So, actually, these ones are ones that Christie has evaluated. We've gone through tax deed, we've gone through everything with them, and
No, I recognize some
by
of
the
them.
list.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we what are we authorizing the sale of these properties and
So, sale of Bannock County real property.
sell Bannock County real property?
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next, we have Commissioners' proceedings for September. An agreement for a pathology service between Bannock County and Ada County. We took that one off. And I've moved it to Thursday so that Jeff was here when we talked about it. And so
Okay.
I've moved that one to Thursday. Coroner's been instructed. Okay.
So that's on Thursday's agenda now? Okay.
So, tax cancellation request from the assessor and, okay, so there's September.
Is this all consent agenda stuff?
This is just for signature.
Okay.
So, like I say, we have Board of Bannock County Commissioners proceedings.
Yep,
We have tax cancellations
yep.
with Anita. And what was the other one?
The other one that you took off, you moved to Thursday was TransUnion.
The what?
The TransUnion went to the coroner's office. So it's not in your packet anymore.
Okay. So these two to start with, and then we'll go to the consent agenda.
Yes.
And so, let's see, we have the proceedings, and what was this other, the tax cancellation request,
Tax
right?
cancellation.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I move that we sign off on the proceedings and the tax cancellation request.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Keeping us all busy today.
Yes.
Whoop, wait, on this one?
Got to, yeah. All right. Next, under the consent agenda, we have salary rate approval forms. We have minutes from September 27th and October 1st, and we have alcohol licenses.
You're good. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve everything on the consent agenda as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye. Aye. All right, with that being said,